welcome to Whangārei Matters. In this episode, Katy sits down with our play advocate Melinda to explore the vital role of play in nurturing creativity and imagination in our children. With Play Week just around the corner, how many ways are there to inspire play and fun?
Today we're joined by Melinda from our Parks team.
Hello.
Hi, Melinda.
Hi.
To talk about the importance of play.
That is
and
good.
also to hear a bit more about Play Week, which is coming up at the end of October. So Melinda is an advocate for increasing children's access to play and in particular providing opportunities for imaginative play. Welcome, Melinda. It's lovely to get the chance to chat with you a bit more about your work and to get some ideas, hopefully, for keeping our kids active and off their screens.
Thank you for having me.
Melinda, before we start talking more in depth about play, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you came to be so passionate about play?
So I'm an artist. I've always worked in the creative sector. In the last 10 years, I've really focused on murals, and I've painted a lot of murals around, especially in Whangārei. And some of those murals were placed right next to playgrounds. And that's when it really started for me. I've always been curious around how people interact with their spaces. And I've also done a lot of teaching with youth, and I'm interested in psychology. So all those components put together, when you look at play, it's quite a fascinating field, from early childhood right through to elderly, like what play and the value it has in our daily lives. So that's how I got involved in play in general. And then getting more of a specific focus, becoming the play advocate, is how can we enable more opportunities for play across the sector, but with a particular focus on youth. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that leads me into my first question, which I'll just jump straight in with the curly question that springs to mind for me. Over recent years, there's been growing concern about the time kids spend on screens. And I know for me as a parent, that's something that's always top of mind that I struggle with is, just what are some ways that parents can provide play opportunities for their kids?
Well, first and foremost, is get them back out into nature. I think nature is the best playground of all because that enables children to really let their imagination go. And, I just see so many great examples of that, be it at the beach or in the forest or by a river. Nature gives such a permission to play, and it also sort of dials up the silly factor as well. For example, last summer, I'm based at Waipu, and there was a lot of certain type of seaweed that came through, the one that's really sort of long and tentacly, And I just saw so many individual children interact with that seaweed in their own way. Someone was making a hat out of it. Someone else was tossing it up in the air while they're in the water. And these were kids that were slightly older that wouldn't normally play in that way, but it was something about the combination of the environment, the beach, and the seaweed, and the beautiful summer day that just led into that sort of full-blown, not censored in any way, really going for it type of play. And in my mind, only natural environments let it go to that level where you really go for it. That's why I'm such a fan of nature play. And with the increase of devices and the types of toys that are available now, everything's so prescribed. So there's no room for your imagination to meet it. It's just this what it is. It's already prepackaged. So we need to get our youth back into imagining again, because that's where such value lies. Yeah.
So getting our kids out into nature,
Yeah.
getting them to use their imaginations.
Yeah.
What are some of the other reasons that play is so important?
Well, it's a great reset. People are often commenting now that the anxiety levels and happening in kids is way higher than what it used to be. So it's a nice counterbalance for that. Life has become more and more stressful. And when you play, when you get lost in play, it's a great reset for your nervous system. So the other benefits include the physical aspects. So if it's more physical play, climbing trees, building huts, that's quite physical. But if it's more sitting down, drawing, creative play with a creative focus, that's just so beneficial for our brains and our nervous system. Yeah. So that's, I mean, I could go on and on and on. It's hard to sort of really give it in a nutshell, but I would just say to people who are listening, think of the last time you got lost in something, and then how did you feel after that? And I guarantee you felt refreshed, so that applies to all of us no matter our age, so that's the value is just, it's who we are. And when we reconnect to our playful side, the benefits are limitless, really. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're talking about giving ourselves permission to play.
Yes,
this is something we've
correct.
lost. And something we
Yeah.
need to regain again.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And the thing is for me is that we need to start looking at play as an important value. Often it's overlooked and sort of taken for granted. It's like, yeah, we play. But it needs to be put more on a focused pedestal because it's so accessible. You just don't need much to start off on a playful journey. All you need is your imagination, really. And it's so reminding ourselves that it's actually important to be a little silly sometimes, or get lost in something joyful, or, just get lost within some sort of imaginative activity. Yeah. But also physical play, like playing badminton and things like that's all great as well. But I guess when it comes to our youth, I'm really trying to encourage that combination of creativity, imagination, physical play, sense of wonder. Yeah.
So something else that comes to mind for me as a parent, just in terms of the way our culture has shifted so much, that there's a real increased focus on safety and keeping our children safe, stranger danger, all those kind of messages we get. What does that risk compromising for our young people?
Yeah, that's a great word, compromise, because that's what is happening. So many things are happening around that focus of safety. From a physical sense of, okay, our playgrounds have become fairly safe. They have to be because of certain legislation. And of course that has benefits. We want to keep our tamariki safe. But at the cost of that is that they're not extending themselves. They're not learning about perhaps consequences, perceptual awareness, balance, how to interact with others. When you have more free-flowing play, like say if you were building a hut with a group of ages, there's a lot of communication that's happening in that process. And then sometimes it might get a little bit physical, sometimes it may go a bit wayward, but in all of that, there's a lot of learning, So when you have heavily prescribed play, e.g. going to a playground, great value in that, I'm not against it. It's all very linear. Everyone knows where everything is. There's no new ways of approaching it. It is what it is. Those are the stairs. That's the slide, which is fine. But where's the opportunity for someone to bring their imagination and dictate it in their own terms? Like if you were building a hut or something like that, that's on your terms now. That's for you to really explore to the outer rims of your imagination. Yeah. So the consequence around safety is it becomes quite restricting. And that's the opposite of what play is, So we need to revisit the value of, let's expand those boundaries a little more so there's more scope for that sense of freedom to move and play. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking things like climbing trees or playing at the beach, building huts on the beach, building tree houses, playing in the creek, all those things that we remember from childhood that we really enjoyed when we look back on our own childhoods. Yeah. And I think it's safe to say we were a lot more free in those days.
Yes, definitely. And for those who are listening, I invite you to reflect back and think, what was my favourite type of play activity? Where was I? And I ask that a lot with a lot of adults all around within the community and here within council. And everyone has come back with mainly nature, be it at the river or a swing that comes off a tree, jumping into the river or a pond. Sometimes it is more hut making, be it like with cardboard boxes and dolls. My point is it's very affordable play. Every time I ask older people, what were your memories of play was very accessible and it's very affordable. So how do we enable our youth now to those types of pathways to play?
So we've talked a lot about sort of outside play, playing out in nature. What would be some cheap ways that parents could provide more imaginative play environments for kids in an indoor space?
Okay. Well, I would say an indoor hut, maybe gather some chairs together, throw a big sheet over them. They've instantly got yourself a little magical wonderland inside there. Big cardboard boxes. If you don't have any, then maybe keep checking in with places like Bunnings. And then you can start attaching those boxes together, and then it becomes, well, anything you want, from a rocket ship to a train to a shop, whatever they want. That's the whole reason of doing it. Then you could do some arts and crafts. I like the idea of painting rocks. That's become quite a big thing. And then that leads into a bigger picture that you can place those rocks somewhere in a public space or in your own garden. I know the Quarry Arts Centre has a big thing with little find your rock or place the rock that you've created. It's sort of almost not like a treasure hunt, but a type of treasure hunt. And so that's a great way of getting creative, playful, and all within a very affordable budget. Yeah. So I think that's the thing. I think less focus on buying all the toys and more focus on just loose part play. And what I mean by that, a couple of those noodles that sometimes people have in the pool, or like anything goes really. Of course, sharp tools and stuff, not ideal. But apart from that, just get, 3 tennis balls, some noodles, cardboard boxes, some tape, and see what comes from that.
So
some string,
random props you can gather together and just see
random props.
What imaginative play
put them
comes out.
Put them in the
that.
centre and see what. I guarantee something comes. Even if you did that for any age group and said, right, make me something out of that, and then watch what happens. Watch how lost they get. And
just while you've mentioned other age groups, I know as we leave childhood behind, we tend to get more and more focused on tasks and our, ticking things off our to-do list. What is play just for the kids, or can adults benefit from play too?
Yes, there's so many benefits, and I think we need to bring that back into focus as well. Like I said, let's look at play as an important value for everyone, because it's proven when we go into a state of play. Now, that could look like getting lost in a recipe, making a cake or dinner if you're really into food. It could be tapestry. It could be playing checkers with a friend. It doesn't matter. Whenever you have that moment of joy and you move into that slightly more blissful state, abandoned state, non-task orientated state, then that's when the magic happens. It resets our nervous system. It's great for our cognitive abilities, brilliant for memory. Yeah, the list goes on and on. Yeah. So also we tend to get quite serious as we get older as well. And that also really helps to pile on those stress levels. So what's the counterbalance to that? Do something joyful, do something silly, remind ourselves what makes us smile. Yeah.
So before we end, I'd like just to talk to you a bit about Play Week. Can you tell the listeners about what Play Week is and what's coming up?
Okay. Play Week is a nationwide event starting on the 26th of October, finishing on the 1st of November. Basically a week to just increase the awareness around play and its importance and its value, and to encourage you to give yourself permission to play in whatever way, shape or form that looks like for you. So if you're a creative person, or if you would like to get more creatively involved in a sort of under an arts lens, then there's a few events that are going to be on that will help you access or get you up and running in that field. Or if you want to do something more physical, or if you want to build a hut, just to remind you there are so many different ways we can play, and to bring awareness around that and to celebrate it, really. So there'll be lots of events on within the district. Hoping to have a kite day. I know we're going to have a go at hip hop within town, and I'm working with Creative Northland as well. There may be something around more creative play there. I know the libraries will be having passports, as in a passport to play, a little fold out that our youth can use and give them some great ideas of how to play in their neighbourhood. So, yeah, just keep an eye on the website, really, for see what's on. Make it your mission to have fun that week, really. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Play Week coming up October 26th to November 1st. Sounds like lots of great events out and about in the district. So to find out more, you can go to www.wdc.govt.nz/Play Week to find out more.
Yes.
Before we finish up, any final thoughts you'd like to leave listeners with?
Okay. I would say ask yourself as an adult, when was the last time I played? And that could be in any way, shape or form. And remind yourself that you don't need a lot. If you have children, you just need to give them the permission to play. And that could be taking them to the right environment where they can really let their imaginations flow. Or it could be giving them a few cheap accessories, like I said, with cardboard boxes or some fun clothes or even material, as to how can I create more opportunities for free-flowing, imaginative play. Yeah. And ultimately, I don't want to come across as preachy, quite the opposite. I want to inspire people to just play on their own terms in their own way and let their imaginations flow. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Melinda. It's been a fascinating discussion.
Great.
And I look forward to Play Week and seeing what's going to come up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.